on a 100-pound journey, you already know. But we're talking about overcoming binge eating and just your emotions. All right. So I want to get into that today, and I want to tell you all what happened and how we're going to regroup. Okay. Again, I told you I was going to be completely transparent on this journey. So you already know I went to Baton Rouge. This is why this is why it's so hard to do a diet plan, because once you get off of it, if you deviate in any way, it is so hard to recover. I'm not gonna lie. It is very hard to recover if this is so. Look, I want you all to look at this. If your norm is to eat what you desire, and you shift that and put yourself on a diet plan, or some type of, you're on the weight loss journey, you're in a calorie deficit, or whatever it is, your body is going to try to get itself back to the norm. So as soon as I go to Baton Rouge and I eat the norm, now when I'm trying to go back home, when I'm going back home and trying to get myself repositioned into the new habit that I'm trying to implement, my body is fighting even harder to get back to the norm. And I'm not gonna lie. The transition it is a fight. It is a whole fight. And it's the most annoying fight. That's why I'd say this is not just a weight loss journey. This is a healing journey. I'm trying to heal my relationship with food. I'm trying to heal how I look at food, how I deal with my emotions and all of that stuff. Because I am now, like I said, coming off the Baton Rouge where I ate, what I wanted to eat. And now I'm like, okay, I can shift right back into it, to my fasting and all of those things. And it's just not happening as quickly. And it's funny. However, it's not. It is discouraging at times. It is sad at times. And it is frustrating highly, because I realize that in this state right now, I realize that my body still has control. And that is the sad part. And that is the frustrating part, that I am in this state currently. And I know God tells us that when we are weak, that is when he is strong. So in fact, when I am weak, I am really strong. When I am weak, I am strong. And I understand that. I think the hardest part is realizing that this is why God says you must die to your flesh daily. You must die daily, because I just realized that this journey is a journey that is never ending, that I'm going to always be on. I'm going to always be. This is y'all know how my man was like, God, if you could just take this thorn from my side. And like, no, my grace is sufficient. This is that moment. This is that moment where I'm like, God is saying, no, my grace is sufficient. It is only through my grace that you're going to be able to transform your body and take control. It's not by your own will. And if you know me, I try to do a lot of stuff under my own will. I try to take control often. So let me get to the point. So I come back, y'all saw the scale go all the way up to 390 pounds. And I'm like, I know it's inflammation. I know, I wasn't drinking my water, all of those things. Now I get right back. You know what? I said, I'm going to get right back into my fasting. I do a 48-hour fast, and then I go into my 20-hour fast. I'm locked in there. Cool. So now we're right back down to 375. Great. 375, because, I'm trying to get back to those 360s. Y'all know we had hit the 360. And so I'm right back in my regiment. What I get frustrated about, and this is where the binging part comes in, is my daughter and we've been working out track meet. So she's doing track this year. This is her first time doing track. And literally, I need y'all to hear this. Please hear this, because this is going to help you, because it's helping me realize. The first track meet, there's 16 girls in the track meet. My daughter is running. She comes in 13th place. Now, in every other part of my life, I'm a beast, and I'm like, yo, we gotta win. We have to win. And winning is not just mean you always have to come in first. We want first, but winning means that your preparation and your execution was on point. And if you take 13th place, but you prepped and you executed, baby, we celebrating. But I told her, I said, baby, what is that? You might well have been in last. That's unacceptable. That's not what we do. It's not what we do. So I said, I got your training. You're going to train with me from now on. And I said, in the next 2 meets, we will be in the top 6. So I said, because the meets are a week apart, 7 days apart. I said, next week, you're going to be in top 10. The week after that, we'll be in top 6. The week after that, we go top 3. And that final week, we're going for that first place. I said, this is going to be hard. I'm going to train you. It's going to be hard. I see some things that we need to do. I'm doing research. I'm doing YouTube videos. I'm looking at all of this stuff as far as running long distance, 800, all of that. We start training. The next race, it's 19 girls running the 800. My daughter takes 8th place. We're celebrating. 1, preparation, execution. We're celebrating the 8th place. She was excited. She's geeked. I'm geeked. I'm like, you working, girl. So then we have spring break. I say over spring break, I say we're still going to work out. We're still going to get it, baby. They're going to be resting. Other girls are going to be resting and all of that stuff and eating and focusing on playing. We're going to be working. We're going to work over this spring break. I said, because we now have to get top 6. Baby girl's working. We did a couple 2-a-days, all of that stuff. First race back from spring break, she gets 6th place, and we are celebrating. We talked about it so much. We talked about it, all of that stuff. I said, okay, and then I see where you kind of got gassed out at the end, so this is the plan now. I said, we're going to work. Our workouts now are going to be more about getting your body to fatigue, and then we're going to do sprints. So we did this workout, and my daughter she at work. We did 4 miles on the bike. We did 30 minutes on the stepper. We did some jumping drills. I had her push the sled, everything, and then some core workout. We did all of this stuff. And she's like, oh God, I'm tired. And I said, boom, there we go. It is when you are at that point. I said, you're not even tired. Your body is still saying, your mind is telling you, based on all this stuff I did, I should be tired. I said, but your body has more. Let's do our sprints. So now we're about to do 4 sprints because I wanted her to understand you kept your pace. It was the last 200 meters that these girls caught you. And that's when you told yourself you were tired and you didn't push to that other gear. I said, now it's going to take you to push to another gear to get these sprints done. And we're going to sprint for 1 minute at 10.0 on the treadmill. On the third one, baby girl starts crying because she's like, I can't breathe. I said, this is good. What do we need to do? Control the breathing. In your nose, out your mouth. All right, blow out for 4 and 5 seconds. All of this stuff. Everything that we work on, you have to do it because this is what you have to do in the race. And then she's like, I can't do it. I can't. I said, no, we have to shift it. Tell yourself you can. This is the self-talk that I need while you're running. And I said, we're going to do one more. And she's getting herself together. And she beast out these sprints. She beast out the sprints, y'all. The next day, she comes home. This is yesterday. She comes home. I've already eaten. I've already started my clock again for fasting. By the time I see baby girl, I'm already 6 hours, 7 hours into my fast. And she says, the coach said, because this is the district this week, The coach said she's gonna go with somebody else, another girl, to run. And I said, what? Well, based off of what? Like, talk to me. She said we did two races on the 800. I won one, the other girl won one, and then she went with the other girl. And then she says the other girl hasn't even been here. But she just came the first practice right after spring break. So I'm like, okay, she's been to 2 practices. She ran in 1 meet, and then that 1 meet you beat her, and now she gets to run this. I said, did you say anything to the coach? She's like, I didn't. I couldn't talk. And I said, I get it, but this is a moment where I need you to advocate for yourself. But it's all good, baby. I got you. We're going to email her, all of that stuff. We're going to talk to the coach. Coach hasn't responded yet, though. But I'm talking about the level of anger. So sometimes we mask anger with other things. I was angry, but the real feeling, and I know this was a long story to get you all to get to this point. The real feeling that I felt was rejection. It took me back to my childhood and me feeling rejected. And me feeling that time when I tried out for a team and I didn't make it, or me feeling like, okay, my mother wasn't a part of my life and she rejected. I felt those emotions. And the level, and of course I masked it with anger, and the level of anger that I had, my wife had to do the email. I'm like, and my wife sent me this email back, and I'm like, it's not angry enough. And she's like, you want me to make it more spicy? I'm like, no. Be angry, but sin not. But we have to still, we still have to move as followers of God. So let's be gentle. Let's find out what was their reason for making these decisions. But more so, I teach my daughter certain principles: good work ethic, integrity, honesty, like operating in a spirit of excellence, not giving up, making a commitment. And she's been there every single practice, never missed a practice. She's practicing on the weekends. And the fact that this girl can come for 2 practices and then run in the meet and then have her spot, y'all, it bothered me so much. I'm talking about livid. I haven't been this angry in a while, but I realized that there was a couple things happen. 1, it took me back to my own rejection. 2, it put me in a protective mode of, and I'm getting emotional again now, because I'm like, my daughter will not feel this. And I realized that she has to feel this. She's going to have to feel this. Something I can't necessarily protect her from, but it's like, yo, what are you teaching this young girl, this young lady, when it comes to work ethic, hard work, and commitment? She's been committed to you, and yet you're saying, yeah, all that doesn't mean nothing. Steady to go from 13th place to 8th place to 6th place, steady progressing, and then you're like, that doesn't mean anything. Oh, I need some answers. I need some answers. So I then, I'm talking to my wife, and she was like, babe, I could tell that you're really upset about this. I said, man, babe, I am beyond upset. I'm heated right now. Man. And during this time, like, I've trained myself to get to the point where, if I'm angry, like my wife and I, we've gotten into different disagreements, and I'll go for a walk, or I'll go for a bike ride, or I'll go to the gym or something like that. I've noticed that there are, cortisol level going up and all that stuff. There's a level of frustration that I haven't tapped into yet, that once I go there, I go back to my normal way of coping. And guess what that is? The normal way of coping is eating. So I I literally attempted to resist, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna just go for a walk. I'm like, I'm frustrated right now. I'm gonna go for a walk. I feel like my daughter's being treated unfairly, and then I'm also in a space where I'm getting back to my childhood emotions. The 8-year-old, the 10-year-old me is frustrated and all of that stuff. And I'm like, I never went for the walk. I sat in the car. I was like, yo, I'm gonna go for the walk. But I even shed a tear. I was like, man, I'm so, and it wasn't tears of like, it was just tears of, I was just that angry that I felt like somebody is trying to take something from my daughter that I feel like she's earned. And she's put in the work, and she's exhibited the right work ethic, and she's done the necessary things. And then you want to try to tell me that she's still, what? That somebody else could just come and snatch that from her? And that bothered me so much. And so I'm fixing their plates. And then we had cut up steak yesterday. Fixing their plate. I ate one steak. And then next thing I know, I'm like, I'm fixing a whole nother plate. The emotions got to me that much. I fixed a whole nother plate. Ate that. It was steak and rice. And this, it's like 6 o'clock. My eating time has been done. So I fixed a whole nother plate. And then my daughter, she's clearing out her lunchbox. She didn't eat one of her sandwiches. She's like, I'm gonna just throw this away. I was like, just give it here. So I eat her sandwich. So I eat her sandwich. And then so they have their treat yesterday on Monday, and so now I get some of their treat, which is ice cream. So then that's not enough. So I'm because I eat the ice cream, all right? The Bible says, you resist the devil and he will flee. If you resist temptation, and you lean not to your I didn't do any of the things that are necessary to take back control. And I don't think I wanted to. There's a part of me that didn't even want to. A part of me just wanted to feel what I felt. And that could be okay to do, but I wanted to feel what I felt. And the only thing that I thought to do was comfort myself in this way. And I'm realizing today, and I'm realizing as I'm on this journey, that this is not comfort. This is more so punishment. Like, this is like punishing myself rather than comforting. And I understand that. I understand all of these things. But in this moment, I just, whatever. And so then I go to the gas station. And I'm like, I grab some wings there and a honey bun. And I eat it. And low key, that still did not do it. But I didn't do anything. I didn't eat anything else. I was just like, I just need to go to bed. So I end up going to bed. And of course, immediately after, the remorse sets in, the guilt sets in, all of those things start to sit in. And I'm just like, all right, so now look, this is what happened when you do a binge eating, and I'm saying binge as in you eat outside of what you said you were going to do. You eat past, you're satiated, you're full, but you still eat past that. That is binge. It don't have to, you had chips, you had this, you did. No, you eat outside of what your plan was, or outside of you being satiated, full, content with so you eat outside of that. That is a binge. So I did outside of that. So I ate outside of that, right? And then, so that now what happens in a binge is you start trying to convince yourself, all right, of like, no, not convince. I'm starting to negotiate with myself. All right, cool. You know what? Instead of doing my normal 20-hour fast tomorrow, I'm going to do 65 hours. I'm going to do a 65-hour fast. Okay, it'll be okay. I'm going to do a 65-hour fast. This is cool. So now I know, listen, y'all, I know that I'm not mentally set up to do a 5-hour fast. But in that moment, I told myself that this is what I was going to do to justify me being able to have this moment of punishment for myself. Y'all see that? You see the circle? You see the cycle? Or this is the same, it's equivalent to the I'll start on Monday. Well, to start on Monday would justify what I get to do now, because I'm not going to eat like this anymore ever again. So once Monday hits, I'm not going to eat like this ever again. That is the justification, which is also a part of binging. Justifying or negotiating allows the binge to happen. This is what we have to understand. So the binge literally starts here. There's some we have to identify what is the thing that is triggering us. I didn't realize that it was the childhood or the rejection for me. I just had this thought, I prayed this morning and all of these things, and this just hit me this morning. It was like, man, why was I understand I was frustrated because my daughter she was putting in so much work, but what else was behind that? Because I even started crying and things like that. And I'm clenching my fist and I'm like, what is that? And then I realized that it wasn't just about her. This was about me. These are about emotions that I felt in my childhood, and I wanted to protect her from it. And now it feels like it's happening to her, and I know what I felt then. And so I coped the way I coped in my childhood. I cope today in that way. Here's the great part. The great part is typically, since you already know I've lost over 100 pounds now, but typically in the journey, if I go off, I'm off for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. What I do like is the rebound is a day. So I'm right back fasting. I did tell myself I was going to do the 65-hour fast. I don't know necessarily that here's another great tip. I don't know that I'm necessarily ready to do a 65-hour fast. That's a mental discipline. You got to understand, when you fasting, the mental discipline of those has to be on point, right? Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change it to just my normal 18-hour fast. I am going to do a 65-hour. I'm just not going to do it yet. I'm going to do what I can get. I want to get my wins back flowing. So I'm going to do my 18 hours, get that win. I'm going to eat, and then I'm going to do my 18 hours again, get that win. And I'm going to do my 18 hours for 3 days in a row, and then I'm going to go and do the 65-hour fast. Because now I'm mentally setting myself up to know what is to come, to plan for it, to self-talk, all of those things. So the best thing after a binge or anything is how quickly can you get to your next win? Because this is a big loss. This is a loss that hurts. And what the enemy wants is to keep you in this isolation and to keep you just constantly replaying it. And, oh man, I'm never going to lose weight. And I had these thoughts, I'm never going to lose weight. I'm never going to be able to do this. It's just like, God, I'm sick of trying. I'm sick of this cycle. Why can't I just... And there are moments where you're going through and you're binge eating, and in your mind, you say like, man, I'm not hungry. I'm done. I can stop. But you can't stop in that moment. You're not thinking stop. Why? Because you're not fully in control. So this is why I'm like, okay, the best thing to do is, one, you pray, you have grace with yourself, you forgive yourself, and then you get right back onto what is my next win that I can get. My next win, okay, let me get my water. Pow. Win. Let me get to the gym. Like I'm outside the gym right now. win. After the gym, all right, make sure you just fast. And I might even do just 16 hours today because coming off of the sugar and all that stuff. Okay, I fasted 16 hours today. Win. Let me eat. Let me also then win at what I'm choosing to eat. Wow, that's another win. And then I'm going to go at, you see what I'm saying? It's just getting the wins, stacking the wins back up, right? Just going back into it and then just keeping that consistency. That's my plan, at least. As I go through this process, I'm sure another video I do on binging, I may have better tips. But I know right now, the root of the binge, typically, for me at least, is not about what's in front of me right now. It's not even about, when we're binge eating, it's not about the emotion that we feel in that moment. It's about the emotion that we felt back then that is now having us to relive. This moment right here caused me to relive another moment. And that other moment that I was reliving, I never healed from that. This is just bringing up another unhealed moment. Another moment that I did not have a conversation about, or that I did not use healthy coping mechanism. It brought that up. And so I literally handled that the same way I did back then. I handled today the way I did back then. So now going forward, when I see myself getting to, and there will be other things that come up and I'll have to go through a similar process. But when I see myself getting to that level of anger, identifying the heart rate, me like breaking down and feeling like I want to cry, me clenching my fist, or listen, if my wife will tell you, when we send emails out or when I talk to people, I never want to be angry. I don't handle things in anger. Like, so I'm the one where she'll write an email or something to a teacher, and I'm the one that has to, what up, Tati? I'm the one that has to go over her emails and be like, man, babe, this could come off a little disrespectful. This seemed a little rude. This seems, all right, let's shift this. I'm the one that does that. But I recognize in this moment, the fact that I wanted to be angry, that lets me know that this was not even about this current situation. This was about a past or a childhood situation. There are certain indicators where we can know that, is this about right now or is this about back then? And I realized that when back then shows up, then I have to now introduce, here's how we're going to cope with that now. Now we don't binge eat anymore. We don't eat anymore to cope with that. Now what we do is we pray. One, we give ourselves grace. We talk it out. All right. We go for walks. We go for bike rides. We go to the gym. Like, there's a new way of coping. And that's not it. And I'm sure there will be other things that come up. And as they come up on this journey, I'll have to go through this process and tell myself, like, no, we have a new way of coping. We have a new way of doing things. All right. We're going to rely on God now. Okay. So, yeah, I appreciate y'all rocking with me. And I'll let you all know what happens with the track stuff. But yeah, I was highly pissed. All right. But we got our fast today. About to go work out now. And about to get it in. And then we just going to keep going. 65. We're going to do a 65-hour fast starting Monday. And no, I'll probably start on Sunday. I'm going to probably start Sunday. Today is, what's today? Tuesday. Okay, I might even start the thing Saturday. But I just need to get the wins under my belt first. So today is Tuesday. I'm doing 16 hours today. I'll do 20 hours after that till tomorrow. I'll go do another 20 Friday. So Friday, at the end of Friday, I will start the 5 hour. So I'm gonna do 20-hour fast this week all the way up to Friday, and then on Friday I will start my 65-hour to 72. I might even do 72-hour fast. All right, and then we'll go back into the 20. All right, y'all. Y'all have a phenomenal day. I appreciate you all so much for hearing this out. Like, share this with somebody, or tag somebody that needs to understand what's happening when they're binge eating, or that is constantly caught in this cycle of binge eating. All right, we're gonna go on this journey together. I don't have it all figured out, but I am learning as I go, and that's why I'm taking you all on this weight loss journey with me. Healing is a lifestyle. It is not a destination. It is a lifestyle. All right, let's get this work. Ugh.